The Fantasy Football Show.
Hello everybody and welcome to TOT&HAM episode 25, 26, something like that, from Planet FPL. My name's Serge.
My name is James.
And this is our weekly extra special drill down into Tottenham and West Ham, because those are the clubs we support and we rabbit on about them too much on every occasion we can. So let's just put it in this box called Tot&HAM. What's happening? You won at the weekend against Manchester City. I mean, beating City is no small achievement, despite the fact that this season I heard on the radio today that they'd lost as many games this season as the previous two combined, and we still got 13 to go.
City have now lost as many games as Arsenal have won.
Okay.
It's a good stat.
I heard mathematically Arsenal are out of the title race now.
That's correct. Yeah, I believe Spurs can still win it. The charge is on.
Okay, fair play.
When Liverpool win this league, I'd like to remind them that, we stopped City getting 4 points. That 22-18, it could be all the difference, mate.
A massive difference. Over the course of 2 games now, you've beaten City.
Yeah.
6 points.
4 points.
Oh, so you drew, did you?
Yeah.
First game, sorry,
I mean, Lord knows how we've got any of those 4 points, by the way.
Yeah. They should have scored about 16 goals and you should have scored about 1. But
over the 2 games...
Football's football, isn't it?
The Etihad in game week 2 and the game at White Hart Lane on Sunday, Spurs had 5 shots, scored 4 goals. Manchester City had, I think, 44 shots and scored twice.
Right. Fair play. Stats say it all, right? And the stats are a reasonably fair reflection of the game and the chances, etc. Quite a feisty old game yesterday.
Yeah, it was. At certain points, it looked like it was going to boil over. Yeah, especially with the penalty incident.
I don't think it was just handbags, mate. It wasn't like a local derby where you think, okay, this could kick off. I think everyone was just
but I think
get in the ref's face a little bit.
The fixture, because of what happened in the Champions League last year, it feels like there's a little bit of needle with the fixture. And I mean, it's unfathomable that City haven't beat us in either of those 2 fixtures, considering how the games went.
Yep.
And you start thinking, I guess they might be, is it bogey stuff? Like, Tottenham again, shouldn't really be too much of an issue with the way we've been playing over the last 18 months or so. But for whatever reason, they seem to have some issues with us.
Yeah, they have recent times. They could just as easily smash you 6-0 next game.
Oh yeah,
same
and it wouldn't be a shock.
No, City's City. I think this season needs to. It's funny, actually. Another thing they were talking about on the radio is I was going to say this season needs to end for City, but they're still in 3 cups. And I can't remember who it was on the radio who was saying that should City win all 3 cups, the Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup, you could argue the case they've had a better season than Liverpool.
No.
Yeah, Champions League something, though. They've not won the Champions League. Whereas Liverpool have won the Champions League and the league. It's
listen,
put it this
City,
way, it's a debate that you could have and it wouldn't be the most nonsensical debate.
City will only get judged on what they do in the Champions League now.
For this season, for sure.
I think even beyond at the moment.
Yeah. Well, they need to come back and take their league title crown because all of the United teams in the past and Chelsea teams in the past who have lost their title have within a year or two won it back.
I don't think there's any question that next season they will come back very, very strong. They will spend
money.
I mean, that's a given, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a lot now with City where you feel like, I wouldn't say mass rebuild because they've obviously got quality players. They've missed like Leroy Sané the whole season, but
Sterling's been off the boil for so long.
Yeah, I mean, Bernardo Silva, I think we all thought was going to have an unbelievable season, but because of the form of Riyad Mahrez, has not seen as many minutes as we'd have expected. I think a new prolific striker. Yeah, that's underrated. In terms, I mean, it wouldn't have had effect on the title race when he went. It was already finished.
Done. Yeah.
But that's a destabilising that's not going to help. And defensively, they probably need 3 new defenders.
Yeah. Couldn't argue with you at all.
There isn't, when the teams come out, there's no fear looking at it. I don't know why. just no fear. You just feel like if you can shut down De Bruyne, you can shut down the rest. But, that all said, if City had been 2-3-0 up after an hour, no Spurs fan could have complained. It just didn't put the ball in the net.
How did you find the Spurs performance? Any improvements? You had new boy Bergwijn started, got 60, 70 minutes under his belt.
It was a strange day because, I don't know, I woke up Sunday morning and suddenly, I guess I was just in game mode. I actually had a good feeling about it all of a sudden. I think Dan, FFI Test, messaged me and I was like, I'm hyped for this now. I haven't been for quite a while for Spurs, and there was no real reason for it.
A lot of fans that go to games regularly will understand, because I've had days like that as well. Like I remember Manchester United earlier this season, which was a Sunday game. You wake up and you think, you know what? Today we're going to do it.
I'm hyped for this.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think that, but then, like I said, I saw the team, and the first thing is obviously no Laporte in it, and you think, well, there's a chance here. If we defend properly, at some point we're going to have a chance. Absolutely.
When you didn't see Laporte in the City team, your first thought was, okay, you know what, we can get their back four. Do you know what my first thought was when I didn't see Laporte in the team? Issa Diop's coming on for 7 points in our differential team, baby.
I think you mean the dead team.
Dead team, sorry. Yeah. Because we were up to, I haven't checked recently, but we jumped from 110 in the who got this Assembly League to 65 or something.
Yeah.
So with Diop's points, I think we might have jumped up to top 50, mate.
Okay, nice.
I'll have a look. But anyway, yeah, seeing Laporte had double benefit.
Well, as soon as I saw it, I tweeted. I was surprised that Bergwijn started the game because it's obviously just a big game to.
And he literally just
throw someone in. Yeah. Well, basically, I mean, been around in the country since sort of Sunday, Monday, I think. But I didn't overly expect him to start. And then obviously seeing no Laporte, and I tweeted at the time, I was like, I think Bergwijn would probably play off the right. He didn't. He mainly played off the left. And I just added, the only thing I added was like Laporte not playing is such a plus.
Yeah.
And there were things during the game, like, I know Hugo had a good record of saving penalties last year, but I've never had an opinion that he's actually a great penalty saver. He does very often go the wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but in my heart, I felt like he'd save it.
Whenever there's a lot of kerfuffle before a penalty, it's always worse for the penalty taker, obviously, and puts the pressure on him, right? So all the mind games and stuff did take place. City have a cloud over their heads with penalties now, and that's going to play into the penalty taker's mind even more. It's like,
it's the first
if I miss this, Ederson's going to be on penalties.
It's
or
the
whatever,
first
maybe.
one Gundogan's missed, in fairness.
In a while, but the team has missed penalties, and it's been a light's been shone on it with Ederson being talked about taking pens.
Well, I think it's still, if Aguero's on the pitch, Aguero will take.
Aguero was on the pitch.
What? Gundogan, like I said, hadn't missed one previously, so I guess he was first choice, and then it's Aguero.
Yeah, it's like, now it's back to Aguero.
And third choice might be Ederson now, or second choice, or first choice. I don't know.
So you were happier with Spurs now. Listen, Heung-min Son got on the score sheet.
Yeah.
He's still probably the favourite Spurs asset for most people right now to be going to. And is he still your favourite Spurs asset to go to? Or do you still think stay away from all of them?
Well, I could keep saying stay away and it keeps scoring.
Who, Son?
Yes, suit me absolutely fine.
He's not been prolific.
I don't think he played well on Sunday. I think of the Spurs players, he worked hard. The whole team worked hard, but I felt he struggled. He obviously took the goal well. It was aided by the deflection off Fernandinho. But he's the one who, I don't think Son, if the manager stays into a third season, I don't think Son will be there,
Okay.
I just don't think physically he doesn't have the mentality to be a top player. I don't think. I think that when it gets physical, I've said this many times, I don't think he wants to get involved in that. And I think he's capable because he's not one who you think, oh, he's a shirker or he doesn't tackle or anything like that. I just think when a game gets physical, he doesn't want any part of that. We look at like Lucas, who a frame is smaller than Son, but like no matter whether he's playing good or bad, he's up for the physical. He will get involved with that. It's not what Son's for, right? I get that.
It's counter-attacking, pace, getting in behind and finishing.
And who am I to argue that he's not been great in the two home games with Norwich and Man City, but he's had, 7 shots across the two games and he's got 2 goals. If someone wants to get him in, I'm not going to say, like, no, don't do it. Yes, he probably is still the best asset, but it could be that Bergwijn or Lucas in the next couple of weeks might emerge at cheaper as better options. What I was impressed with tactically from the manager is how we got in defensively to try and frustrate. Like at the end of the game, I know they were down to 10, but I was never worried. Once we went 2-0 in front, I felt like the game was in the bag. And I haven't felt like that about Spurs for a long time. But I was more impressed with how we attacked. Like, you can say, oh yeah, lucky, defensive and all that. But that's exactly how I would want us to set up against City, is to draw them on and try and expose them on the pace.
There are very few teams that have beaten City without a bit of luck.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Very few.
Go back even to Liverpool when they beat them with the questionable Alexander-Arnold handball, and they go straight down the pitch and Fabinho scores, right?
Ironically, when Norwich beat them in the 4th, 5th game of the season, whatever it was, they had very few chances in that game. They couldn't get in behind and create anything, no fluidity. That was an example of a City game where they weren't good enough, City. But most games you play in City, you need a bit of luck, and even if you have luck, you're still... you can't argue about luck.
What I think he did well was the fluidity of changes amongst the front players. So I tweeted at half-time saying about Dele Alli was putting a massive working shift in, because one of the things I picked up very quickly was when Lloris had the ball in open play, not from a goal kick.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Ooh.
City's front two, let's say Aguero and De Bruyne, and then Rodri and Gundogan, they go and press like in a box shape. And it allows, if the ball goes wide, they can go and expose and then go and press together. And the two wide players kind of drop off. But if it goes into the wide area, whichever side, that one will go and press. Now, what Ali was doing was he was obviously trying to pick up the space behind Gundogan and particularly Rodri to then kind of fill in that sort of inside left channel to expose City on the counter-attack. But without the ball, he was getting in defensive positions to try and get round De Bruyne. Now, because of... I said to people to watch out for it in the second half. 10 minutes into the second half, they're down to 10 men and we've scored, and it's a different game.
Yeah.
But I was impressed with the fluidity of how the formation changed. So it was particularly Bergwijn and Ali kept swapping. Then in the second half, some went from left to right, up front, and then Lucas went to the right, and then it changed back again later in the game. So it was fluidity that kind of kept City on their toes, kept it honest. And I think one of the reasons he did that was to give people a break defensively in terms of the amount of defensive effort you're having to put in. So kind of saying to Lucas, right, first half, I think you're going to play up front. Second half, I need you to really put a shift in for the team.
Yeah.
And then when we went in front, this time I felt the changes were right. So Bergwijn obviously went off because he picked up a calf injury. I don't know if that's cramp or he's actually done his calf at this stage. But then bringing on like Lamela to give a little bit of calmness into the team, and playing on Ndombele in a position where, kind of as a 10, where he didn't have to worry about the defensive stuff too much. I mean, the first thing he did was set up the second goal. And that's been the frustration with Ndombele, because he's absolutely got that ability to unlock that reverse pass. Must be said, though, when you go back and look at it, like, what is Otamendi doing? Why does he step out of his position? He steps out of the position and tries to go into Lamela, which isn't the danger. The danger is Son is through if the ball goes there, and then he scores. And that's why City are miles off Liverpool, because in the small moments, they're getting exposed.
Bad defensive decision making.
Yeah, they're miles off. Like, if Otamendi left City tomorrow and the transfer window had been open, like, who'd take him? Would Norwich take him?
Oh, I wouldn't want him.
Well, Norwich probably would take him. It's an exaggeration, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, would he get in Arsenal's team?
Touch and go.
And how bad we've been defensively, he wouldn't get in our team. Yeah, good all round for Spurs. It was good performance. Sergio Aurier, other than his absolute brain fart for the penalty, was good defensive. Japhet Tanganga at left back was brilliant. He only got beat once, which was very late in the game. Defended Mahrez much better than most will. I feel more comfortable with Sanchez at the back now with Alderweireld. I said that about a month ago.
Yeah.
He was playing all right. And he had a shocker against Middlesbrough in the cut replay where he turned up like he was pissed out of his head. And I thought, oh, he's in trouble again. And then now him and Alderweireld have played the last two. And it's been much better, in my opinion. Winks was, as I said on the People's Poll, was probably his best performance since Champions League final. Lo Celso's doing things. It's more positive. And what I like is as well, like when we were in front, there's none of this direct shit. was like, okay, calm down. We've got a man advantage. Try and play some football.
Yeah.
There's whether they're good or bad at the moment, the team's makeup is not to be playing direct football. People like Ndombele, Lo Celso, Lamela when he plays, they're footballers, play football. So from that perspective, I was a lot happier with things, but well aware, lucky as hell.
Yeah, of course. This direct football thing's interesting. No comment required, but I heard some stats on the weekend talking predominantly about Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United versus Jose's Manchester United. And they play, I think it was 35 or 40% fewer long balls under Ole than they did under Jose, which I don't find surprising. I think they were trying to make a point around style of football and what do United fans really want. But they do try and pass it around. I don't know if Jose is Jose a direct guy now. Is that what he's about?
Well, it hasn't been the last couple of games.
Okay.
Like the Norwich game in the first half, I found enjoyable, and I think it was because Norwich come and pressed us and tried to attack, made for it quite an open game. I felt it was better. This is the challenge, right? For me, this is go and prove yourself and say, okay, you haven't got the players to the characteristics of what you would like, and I accept that when I judge him.
Yeah.
But get the best out of what you've got. And the best to get out of them is to give them a bit of freedom and say, go and play football.
Yep.
I also think it's no coincidence that there were some players who left the football club last week and everything around the place felt better. The atmosphere in the ground, the atmosphere on the pitch. Like some of the players after game, like Harry Winks, you could see was giving it the old chest thumping at the end. And he knows what it means to play for Spurs. And it felt like there was more of a connection back with the fans again. It's something to build on.
Fair play. You saw the highlights of our game.
Yeah, I saw the handball.
The handball. We'll talk about that. Really, really, really disappointing afternoon at the London Stadium. In the end, there's so much to cling on to, yet it just seems to be, it appears as if, hang on, something good might be able to happen and turn around, and then it just disappears as quick as it happens. When I saw the starting lineup, I thought, you know what, 2 of the 3 changes I agree with. Antonio coming back in, yeah, 100% agree with that. Souček, a new boy, started in the centre of midfield, which if you're going to buy him, you might as well play him, right? And he'd had 3 or 4 days to train with the squad as well. So he arrived on the day before the Liverpool game, so he was never going to play against Liverpool, but he played. And then Jeremy Ngakia lost his place at right back to Fredericks. Well, I can't really say lost, but that was the one I disagreed with. I thought the 19-year-old had done well against Liverpool, give him another run out. But you know what? At that age, sometimes you have to just give him a rest or ease him in gently or whatever you do. But I thought, you know what? We lined up much more solid with Noble, Rice, Souček in the middle, Antonio on the left, Snodgrass on the right. And I felt like, depending on what Souček was like, if he can link up Haller and Antonio will be looking to get forward a lot more, and Snodgrass will be. Maybe we can link our midfield and attack a little bit better, and we'll create chances and we'll play well, play with energy, and we should be all right. 2-0 up at half time. So you'd think, oh, you know what? Actually, atmosphere is pretty decent. We played well in the first half. Brighton weren't great. They didn't move the ball around very well. They just pretty average, to be honest. I think Glenn Murray's highly overrated. He's done. He didn't offer much at all.
He's got his first goal in like forever against you.
Well, he only scores against us, doesn't he? But he's like 300 years old or something. Brighton weren't great, and I think that was symbolised by Aaron Moy didn't really have a great game in the first half, to be honest with you. That first half was definitely 2-0 was not an unfair reflection on the first half, especially on the balance of chances created and the way we played. I thought we did okay, you know. Adam Pritchard, 35, who was tweeting about how we'd only had 35% possession. I think you'll see that from West Ham now. Like we will let the other team have the ball and let them move it around.
That's a little bit of a make-up of Brighton as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because Brighton can dominate the ball.
Yeah. And then the second half just was calamity after calamity, right? Where you come in after half time, and I didn't see the goal. Well, I was sitting there. I was just talking to my son as well, he asked me some question of I don't know what, right? And you turn around and you're like, how's that gone in? What's the chances or probability of your keeper punching the ball on the back of a defender and end up in the back of the net? 1 in a million, 1 in 100,000, whatever it is, it's stupid. It's dumb. Who's at fault there? Fabianski?
Yeah,
Bonner?
Really. I mean, you could make a small claim that it might have been a foul, but for a goalkeeper of his quality, he's got to do better.
Yeah. But I have to say it's a little bit unlucky to punch the ball into your own defender's head and then end up straight in the back of the net.
The second goal was
stupid
good as well, wasn't it?
So the second goal was a joke, right? What do you get when an Italian and a Frenchman tried to head a ball or something? I don't know what they were doing. That was pure self-inflicted stupidity. But the thing is, we went 2-1 down, and you think, okay, you know what? There's only 1 goal in it now. We better not start sitting deep, and we need to build that 2-goal lead. And we did.
You sat deep, didn't you? I bet.
Well, we went 3-1 up, right? So Snodgrass took his goal really well.
But I mean from 3-2. I
From
bet
3-1,
you went very deep.
From 3-1, we started sitting deeper and deeper. And then I don't know what they're doing with that second goal. Trying to head it to each other or not, or what. And then
Has it gone in yet? It's still crawling, isn't it?
What, that ball. It was a bad goal to concede, and either both Bonner and Diop are to blame. Like in that position, one of you just leather it, just boot it up the pitch. You don't need to do anything other than that. Boot it up the pitch.
Indecisiveness, because I think that the one trait that Diop and Ogbonna don't have in compared to Balbuena is experience.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a leadership thing as well,
should
maybe.
have the experience. Diop's younger, I can understand that, but Bonner's got plenty of international caps for Italy. He's not a kid, is he, really?
No.
So he should have the experience, Bonner. And then the third goal, that was painful, because when you see it live, and I have a very good, direct, clean view of it, you think straight, the way his arm was a little bit away from his body.
From a
handball.
postcode in West London.
Forget about it. It was clear. It was everyone's like handball, right? And the ref blew and gave handball.
Yep.
So we're like, okay, you know what? If that had just carried on
just
with
to
no
clarify,
VAR,
the referee disallowed the goal.
he disallowed the
That's
goal.
correct,
He said handball.
Okay.
Everybody
It wasn't a
back.
goal given reviewed. It was
Handball,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
goal kick, goal free kick, or whatever.
Yeah.
He's ready to take it. We knew he was going to get VAR checked.
Yeah.
But the fact that, from what you could see, was so bloody obvious, and the ref had given the handball, not the goal, and check it with VAR, we thought, you know what, you're pretty safe here. Then VAR starts. 20 seconds. 30 seconds.
20 minutes.
45 seconds. I timed it.
Okay.
45 seconds, the booing starts.
Yeah.
That's how long it takes inside a stadium for people to get pissed off. Then it was a minute and a half in total. So you had 45 seconds of solid booing, because once 45 seconds to a minute have gone, you know it's going the wrong way. It's going the other way.
You've already had sex once.
You're thinking that, you know what? This is taking too long here. So they're going to overturn this. As soon as it takes more than a minute, you're thinking,
Yeah.
This
Why
is-
is it
this
taking
is
so
done.
long? Yeah, absolutely.
and they gave the goal, and you're like confused. And then they showed the replay on the big screen, right? Only once, maybe twice, I can't remember, but that's a dumb thing to do. They don't show controversial moments normally on big screens. I don't know why they did.
Well, I would like them to show all of them. I think one of the issues about VAR at the moment is selective incidents are getting shown and selective incidents aren't. I would like to see all of them shown in stadiums while the decision is in process. Like, give people the information. At least then that will stop the booing, because at least everyone will be watching the replay on the screen or something. So everybody's got an idea.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, 80+% of football fans are going to be tunnel vision, biased and clueless, no matter however it looks, right?
Yep.
But give people the information. So they're worried about kicking off. I mean, this one was such a close call.
Yeah.
Most of the analysis I've seen seems to think that it's not handball. I think it probably did hit his arm, personally.
Yeah, I think it did, but I'm not subjecting myself to thousands of replays.
Put it this way. I don't think it was conclusive enough to say...
Not clear and obvious to turn over the
That's the
on-field
point.
decision.
I don't think it was conclusive enough to say it didn't touch his arm.
Why
And-
can't
and I
Mike
think-
Oliver come over to the screen to have a look at it? Why can't he?
Because I think on that one, and I would like that as well, but I think on that one, it really should be factual. either it did or it didn't hit his arm, right? Now they've looked at it and they believe that it didn't. I still think it does. I think it literally hits him bicep and stops dead, and that's why it stops dead. But most people seem to think it didn't. I'd be happy, however the referee called that, for it just to be, yep, that's the decision either way. Because I
don't think Brighton fans would have complained had it been disallowed. That's the thing, right?
When you messaged and went, I want opinion, I said to you, I think it was handball. There was a few Brighton fans jumped on and were like, well, clearly it wasn't. You could tell by the way he celebrated that he didn't think. And it's true. I think Murray, I don't know, maybe he's experienced enough to think, I'm going to kid it. I'm going to look like I'm on a serious. I don't know.
I mean, he shouldn't have been left unmarked on the edge of the 6-yard box anyway. But ultimately, if we get relegated by 1 point, that's going to hurt. That's really going to hurt because that's a victory snatched away from defeat. And I feel like that's what's going to happen this year. I feel like we're ready to rock and roll and get relegated by 1 or 2 points. And these stupid handballs and VARs are going to come back and be like, you know what? Do they even themselves out? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But a few other more interesting kind of points. I liked Souček in the middle. He obviously first game had to adapt to the physicality, but he is mobile. He moves around. One of the biggest frustrations I have is we're so static, and like when we've got throw-ins and corners and stuff, people just stand and wait for the thrower inner to do something. He was moving around, he was mobile, he was getting forward. There's quite often he was our furthest forward player because he'd press and stuff.
Where did he play?
So in the first half, he was on the right of a midfield 3.
Yep.
Noble on the left, Rice in the middle.
Yep.
In the second half, he was a bit more central. Essentially on the right of a midfield 3. Okay. And then Snodgrass was further outside him. He was good, actually. You know what? He was mobile. I didn't see any creative attacking play from him, but definitely busy and keeping the ball moving and keeping the play moving. He was all right, to be fair. The difference between West Ham staying up this season and West Ham getting relegated this season will be Mikel Antonio. And we could probably still get relegated if he does play, but no Antonio, no Premier League next year. For the first 45, 50 minutes, he was a bully. He was a bully, much in the same way of an Adama Traore. Once he's got the ball, he just seems to keep it, stick, win, find his way out of close corners and still end up with the ball. Like half the time you really are confused as to whether or not he knows what he's doing or not, but he still ends up with the ball. He is the difference between us staying up this year and us going down. Antonio doesn't play. We have no attacking impetus. Antonio plays, we do. He hurt his shoulder in the first half. Looked like he was going to have to be taken off. Played through it, but then did have to get taken off around 60, 65. I don't know how much of that was injury related or saving him. And we'll find out in a week's time. But yeah, not good. Those two played well. And on another day, you don't do something stupid like punch the ball in the back of your defender's head and it goes in the back of the net, or VAR goes the other way. 3 points and
bring back Roberto.
We're 3 points and we're not in the relegation zone. But now, look, we're going straight into City, followed by Liverpool, and then we've got Southampton at home at the end of the month, which is the 29th.
Then Arsenal away. Then Wolves at home.
I mean, the run is the run, right?
Then if we're out the cup, it's us away. And then on the other side of the internationals, it's Chelsea at home. Mm-hmm. My God, mate.
It's tough. What else can we do, though?
Keep scrapping, mate, and hope you win enough games in the running.
Yeah. Yeah. Haller is a problem,
Yeah, get Antonio up front, mate.
I don't even think that. I think get Jared Bowen. And we've bought the guy. I'm going to hit.
You've bought Jared Bowen from Hull, yeah. Was he? Oh, I suppose he wasn't registered in time, was he?
No.
It'll make a difference. He's a lively player. It's not
only West Ham would be linked at 9 a.m. and still be 9 p.m. We can't flip and get the deal over.
You know why apparently it took so long, didn't you?
Because he didn't want to cut in his wages when we get relegated, apparently. So.
Yeah, and he wanted apparently a release clause if you go down as well.
Yeah, so then, I mean, look, this is
do you
again...
blame him? It doesn't smell good, does it? I mean,
no.
My attitude would be like, you either want to come here or you don't.
Yeah.
But I think the desperation and need is, I mean...
The way that the
it would have been bad for the board if they didn't buy the player, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they'd put themselves in between a rock and a hard place where they'd been so balls out that we're going to get this guy and didn't. And so they had to push through. I don't know what is in his contract or isn't in his contract now, so and we probably never will, but I would play him up front and keep Antonio coming in off the left and Snodgrass coming in off the right. because he looks quick, he's mobile, he's got an eye for goal, he'll take a shot. I like the look of him.
He is a goal-scoring, attacking player. I'm not sure that you'd want him in that position as a number 9. He's not as quick as people think he is. He's not slow. He's not as quick as you might find that what he's done to people in the Championship, he won't be able to take on in the same way in the Premier League, I suspect. But he'll score, if he scores 4 or 5 goals between now and the end of the season, that'll do you, mate.
I think so. Where else are we going to play him? Because we're not going to drop Snodgrass. So where else are we going to play him?
I think it's probably off the left, maybe, at the moment.
So the other option is, stick him in Antonio's position on the left and make Antonio the main striker. I like Antonio on the left. Because Antonio tracks back, drops in, does a bit of defensive work. I can't see Jared Bowen doing that.
With Antonio up front, you really can go a lot deeper and just ping it up to him.
His hold-up play is better than Haller's.
Let me tell you,
he does something with it.
On a serious, right, you've got 2 brutal away games coming up.
Yeah.
If he plays up front on his own, you've got a chance. Whereas without him playing that position, I think you've got no chance.
Yeah.
Like we've seen this so many times with Antonio over the years that he's gone to these big grounds and caused people problems. I can think of him scoring in a 2-2 at Anfield a few years ago. I remember a game at City, he didn't score, but you lost 2-1 very late, and he caused them all sorts of problems. If he's at it, because of his physical attributes, he can be unplayable.
He is a crash bang wallop kind of guy. I do like him. Having said that, and please, if you're listening to this, which is Tuesday, take this with a pinch of salt and do listen back to the final plan on Friday. I will be buying Riyad Mahrez for James Maddison, probably, and captaining him, probably. If I don't buy another City attacking asset, I'll be captaining Kevin De Bruyne. I'll be captaining whoever the most. I can't afford Aguero without making a couple of moves and selling Jamie Vardy, and I don't want to do that. So James Maddison to Riyad Mahrez, I have enough money, and it's an easy move. I'll be probably most likely buying Riyad Mahrez and captaining him next weekend.
Okay.
Riyad Mahrez versus Aaron Cresswell. He's going to skin him, mate.
Tanganga, mate.
Yeah, but Aaron Cresswell hasn't got the pace of Tanganga, has he? Or the physicality.
Play Masaraku there.
Let's do that, because then I'll be filling my FPL boots.
Before we finish, because a few people are probably thinking, James is top 4 back on. It's not at the moment, but should we win at Villa on Sunday and then go 1 point behind Chelsea before they play Manchester United on Monday night, and then we play Chelsea next? Please be aware, for those attending Planet FPL Live 3, there is a warning when you buy tickets that says, do not disturb James during the Chelsea Spurs game. If we go into that game and we're in a position where we can win and go above them, I'm not joking, do not fucking speak to me.
I think you should find another pub. I think you should just literally go to another pub.
You will get more entertainment watching me during that game than you probably will watching the game.
We should create like a glass cabinet box type thing that people can just watch you like a What's
it like when they put people on the dock or something?
Yeah, something along those lines will be interesting to see happen. There we go. Rundown of the Tottenham and West Ham games. Just to touch on Brighton, that weren't spectacular. I think Aaron Moy didn't have his best game, although in the second half they did get a lot better and we started sitting a lot deeper. They will feel in the last 15, 20 minutes they should have gone on and won it, and they should have. I mean, Fabianski pulled out a perler of a save from that free kick, and we will feel like we should have defended and held on to the win as well. So that's English Premier League football at its finest, or kind of, sort of. There we go. We're back at you tomorrow with Planet Sky FF, our Sky Fantasy Football rundown. James is into the top 2K now, are you?
I am, yeah.
Nice and tidy. I'm still 20K. I'm faffing about this year. I messed up big time over the double game week, but I still have 20 transfers. Had a reasonable game week.
I'm into the top 2K, and as I'll reveal tomorrow, it could have been a lot more as well.
But
I didn't pull the trigger on something.
Yeah, well, you still got that transfer up your sleeve, and now it's overhaul time, so do stay tuned to Sky Fantasy Football. Clash of the Correspondents, we have our friend Sean at Spirit Blues, who represents Everton, and Mig, Crystal Palace is on this week. Hopefully we'll get Mig and Sean on together to make it happen.
Hopefully Mig makes it on this time.
Yeah. Come on, Mig. And last but not least, on Friday, we've got the final plan where we'll run down our teams before the deadline, and perhaps there may be a live stream with James. Ask James on Friday. Touchwood, fingers crossed we can make that happen as well. It was a good first episode last week.
Thank you, mate.
So if you want to tune in and listen back to that conversation, it's hard to have a conversation when everybody else is in written text, so you have to read out what they're saying.
It's hard to have a conversation for an hour and a quarter with yourself.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you're doing, but you are talking to people, but they're only typing. It's weird, but it was really good. And I think the listeners got a lot of value, or viewers got a lot of value out of it. So that's on YouTube. Hit subscribe.
Is this off the back of you telling me that you loved me because I said I thought it was handball?
Yeah. Well, I was trying to figure out whether you were trying to be sarcastic and wind me up, or actually genuinely.
No, I was being serious.
So that's what. Well, we clarified it now. So there we go. Well done, Glenn Murray. Ciao for now.
Cue music, match.
Ugh. Painful was that.
The Fantasy Football Show.